Hey guys, let me do some adjusting here. Moving the wrong camera. Okay, so I want to kind of go over the entire skeleton. So I'm going to kind of speed him a little closer here, and then I'll kind of move him back away. So if I get cut off, who cares, right? So this is part two. I just kind of want to go over this diagram. So if you look either this is a separate document or it's on my slideshow I got on there. Either way, kind of click on there if you would. And we're just going to go over some general skeleton. This diagram will be on the test. And I just kind of want to go over some parts of the skeleton. I'll get over Herb here, my skeleton. So there, some of these names we kind of use as just collecting things like the skull. Then we're going to take the skull and break it into the different parts of it. But for this diagram, we're just going to call that the skull. Okay. So that's kind of just a collective name for it. And we're going to start working our way down. So let's start with the clavicle. That's your collarbone, most frequently broken bone in the body. Okay. So that's this short bone right here on either side. There's two of those. Okay. The clavicle, I'm going to kind of follow along, make sure I don't miss anything. So if I keep looking over, you'll know I'm looking at the diagram with you guys so I don't miss anything. Scapula is your shoulder blade. You can see it pretty well right there. So that's the scapula. The vertebrae, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, we talked about those earlier. That's going down. We'll talk more about that down the road as well. Okay. We have the arm. Okay. So let's talk about the arm. Okay. The humerus is this big upper part of your arm. Okay. Where your biceps at. The ulnar radius is where a lot of my students will miss on the test because you can flip this over depending on you're looking at the skull from the front or behind. And which bone's which? I'm going to give you couple helpful hints with this. The radius has a flat top to it and is always on the thumb side. The ulna is always on your pinky side and it doesn't have that flat top where the elbow's at. Okay. If you rotate them, it doesn't matter. They follow the thumb and the pinky. Just a little helpful advice there. Take it or leave it, but I think that will help you on the test. Okay. So that's the arm bones. Okay. We already talked about the vertebrae. The wrists are called carpals. That's your wrist bones. The metacarpals are your hand, and then your phalanges, which we will talk about in more detail later. Okay. On this diagram, they call this the oxa coxa. That's the same one that will be on the choice list. It's also called the innominate. It's also called the hip. Okay. Most of us call it the hip. So that's called the oxa coxa on your diagram. Okay. The femur, so let's kind of back him up a little bit. Okay. So let's bring the leg up. The femur is the largest, heaviest bone where your thigh is at. Your patella is your kneecap. You can see that in front. The big bone in the lower leg is called the tibia. It's what forms your shin, as we call it. It's a huge bone. The smaller one, which gets broken a lot in the lower leg, that's called the fibula. So tibia, the big bone, fibula, the little bone. Then we have the tarsals, which are your ankle. Your metatarsal is your foot, and your phalanges are in the toes as well as your hands. The same terminology we use for both. One more thing that's kind of weird. I don't know why they put it on this diagram. The calcaneus is your heel. So that's the other one on this diagram. Okay. So that's just the overall skeleton. Kind of a quick overview. So make sure you take a look at this picture. I'm going to put the same exact diagram on the test, same parts that are on here. I'll just pick out some of them, and you'll have a matching part to your test. And the ribs, got them. That's obviously a pretty easy one too. Don't think I forgot anything else. So hopefully that helps. Kind of look that diagram over. And that's the entire skeleton. We'll start looking at the color sheets, the diagrams. We'll start with the foot, the hand, the foot, and we'll do the rib cage and some of them tomorrow, and then we'll finish up with the skull on Thursday. Okay, so then you'll be ready for your test on Friday. All right. There also is a Jeopardy game that I'm going to put on today. We're going to play it today in class. I'll put it on, and you might want to wait and well, you don't matter. You can look at it whenever you want because we won't be through all the diagrams yet, but it doesn't matter. So we'll do that tomorrow. I'll put that on today, actually. Okay. So hey, have a good day. Pretty short video. Just want to get through the skull and had to change views on the camera, so that's how all that works. All right. So you guys have a great day. So we will see you later.